Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big man Boisterous coming to you with some Platinum League Pandemonium out of the map Shakuris Plateau. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Tyropuffin going for the Uber manner opening with good luck, have fun, and then good game, good luck, have fun, good luck, have fun. And DGeN doesn't want him to have fun. He just wants him to have good luck. Fun is not part of the schedule here for DGeN, who is spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner as the red Protoss. So on a map like this, Protoss versus Protoss on a map like this is not the most exciting thing ever, because for the most part they're both going to go for 4 gates, or one of them is going to go for an offensive 4 gate, and the other one's going to go for like a defensive 3 gate robo, because there's really no other good openings for Protoss versus Protoss on a map like this, because even though you can forward fast expand on the ramp, it's just so easy for the enemy then to go for air, and then you won't have a whole lot to defend your base from air, or they can go for something like a warp prism rush and then just completely demolish you with warp prism play. And it really Protoss versus Protoss on this map is not my favorite matchup. It's just, I don't feel it to be as interesting as other matchups on this map, like the TVZ matchup on this map. I love TVZ games from this map, just because they're really insane, because you usually see the Zerg go for like a fast expand, and then the Terran builds, a defensive siege line right in the middle with the planetaries and all that stuff, and it's absolutely beautiful. Other than that, we do see both players going for similarly timed warp gateways, although actually we have DGeN's coming out around 16 seconds ahead, so I think that's a bit of a blunder from Tyropuffin, not getting his gateway up quite as efficiently as he could. I'm not sure if he queued up an extra probe or something and he didn't have enough money for the gateway, or if he really just wanted to wait for that gateway, because he is one supply ahead, so he does have an extra worker, I'm guessing. Actually, he has 2 extra workers. Not bad. But, I'm not sure if having a 16-second later gateway, and thus, a 16-second later cybernetics core is really worth it, because you really don't want to delay your tech that much, and 12 seconds behind on warp gate technology can end the game for you, especially on a map like this where 4 gates are so prevalent, just because there's so many good spots for proxy pylons, especially like even you can proxy pylon like back here, and then when you move up the ramp you'll have the pylon field up here to warp zealots in at, or you can proxy pylon here, and when you finally break up this ramp you can warp in units up there. And it's just, proxy pylons are so effective on this map, and they're so easy to do, to the point where having warp gate that's going to be around 10 seconds later than your opponent's is very, very bad on a map like this. And we do see DGeN going for a chrono boosted stalker and a chrono boosted warp gate, which is kind of interesting because he actually has a proxy pylon going down too. I'm surprised he didn't just pull up that second chrono boost to just throw at to just keep chrono boosting at warp gate, because chrono boosted warp gate finishes pretty fast, especially if your enemy actually Tyropuffin might be preparing to chrono boost out his warp gates, but he's going for a 1 gate Twilight Council build. Well, the Twilight Council only helps units made out of the gateway, and you can't make a whole lot of units out of the gateway. So DT rush from Tyropuffin, maybe. And we do have DGeN going for the 4 gate. So we're going to have what would appear to be a High Templar rush against a 4 gate. High Templar rush. That's an interesting strategy. I don't see that a whole lot, and typically when I do see it, it gets crushed by 4 gates, because 4 gates are pretty good, although I guess he doesn't have a lot of gas, so I don't think he can really effectively go Archons. I mean, I think he'll have enough for like 1 Archon, maybe, when this Templar Archive finishes. Maybe? No, he doesn't even have enough for 1 Archon. Nor does he even have a 2nd gateway yet. He's still on the 1 gateway. And I think that's going to turn out to be a pretty bad situation, because we do have 4 gate production coming out for a red Protoss DGeN, and he already has a reasonably substantial force to go up against only 4 stalkers, or 4 zealots, because 4 zealots is not a scary army. You're not really going to get crushed by 4 zealots. He is going to be able to get 1 Archon out, but you know, it's only 4 zealots, and there's a proxy pylon right there. So unless there's some sort of like failure with force fields, or he just doesn't kite at all, I think that this game could pretty easily go into DGeN's favor, because he even has 4 zealots warping in also. He has a lot of gas though, so he's not really efficiently macroing right now. And here comes the Archon, and wow, Archons demolish Zealots. It looks like the Zealots are trying to target fire down the Archon, but the Stalkers are trying to target fire it down too, and they're just walking right into the Zealots, and they're not going to get that Archon anywhere near down. Actually, it's pretty near down, but you know, these Stalkers walking into the Archon is not a winning strategy. This isn't gonna work well. I'm surprised that they're not just like, I'm surprised he went for a Guardian Shield there actually. I guess that's what I'm most surprised about, because Guardian Shields, I don't think Guardian Shields do anything to Archons, because are they actually considered missiles? I don't know. I mean, I know that they don't do anything to Zealot attacks, because Zealot attacks are melee. I guess they might do something to Archon attacks, but even then, I mean, 1 armor against a 25 damage attack isn't going to be a whole lot. I guess that if he had, like, a Stalker-centered army, it would have been more worth it. But with this Archon here, you know, I would have liked to see a force field to try to keep the Zealots out. Even though the force fields can get squashed by the Archons, it would force the Zealots into a situation where they can't attack for a little while. And if you placed it right, I mean, he could have just completely blocked off the ramp in such a way that he can see up it, and you know, the Archon can't get down it, because the Archon actually has to destroy that gateway to break through it. So if he had placed the force field like right here, then he would have been able to like poke a Stalker up here and see this and be able to snipe the Cyber Core. The Archon wouldn't have been able to do anything about it until the Cyber Core went down, and you know, the Cyber Core would be down. And taking down somebody's Cyber Core is pretty bad, because then they can't make any Stalkers and they can't tech it all, and that's pretty annoying. But we do have 5 gateways coming up, and he's pooling a fair amount of gas. I think we are going to see another Archon coming up, and this pylon is just chilling out. It looks like they've decided to live in peace here. Oh, nope, there we go. He's finally going to go off for the attack on that. And we see Tyropuffin not quite spending all of his Chrono Boost. I think that if he really wanted to get the most out of this army, he would start getting Forge upgrades right now. He also has an unwarp gated gateway right now, which is doing a bit of damage to his ability to produce units, but it's not that bad. But again, I think he should really be springing for a Forge as fast as possible, because he has a lot of gas, and a good way to spend gas is on upgrades, because with +1 upgrades, Zealots do a lot more damage. So do Archons, actually. Archons will do a bonus 3 damage just straight up, and that's AoE damage, and it's pretty good. And if you're going for like a Zealot Archon army and you get like shields or armor upgrades, especially shield upgrades for the Archon, because shield upgrades on the Archon scale so well, because they're basically just tanks made out of shield. But you know, I think he should also, has he sprung for charge yet? He hasn't. I think it would definitely be a good choice for him to go for charge for his charge lots right now. But again, he's in just a very dominant position right now, because he held off that 4-gate with no losses, really. I mean, the only real big loss that would have happened for him is if he had lost that Archon, or if he had managed to let them break through. But we do see Immortals to try to counter the Zealot Archon no armored builds out of Tyropuffin. Not the greatest choice of units. I'm surprised that he hasn't even sprung for Robo Facility yet, or Robotics Bay yet. So actually, Tyropuffin is ahead a lot as far as tech goes. He doesn't have that Robotics Bay down yet, but he does have Charge finally coming out. He has 2 Forges, but he hasn't started his upgrades, and there are the upgrades, and he can actually basically perma-Chrono Boost these into the end, because this Nexus is about to cap. This Nexus still has 2 more Chrono Boosts left on it to throw at those Forges, so basically these upgrades can be Chrono Boosted right up till the end, and that will, you know, reduce them down to, that'll reduce them down to 80-second upgrades, and 80-second upgrades go pretty fast. it means that his army will be upgraded, you know, probably by the time that he wants to move out for an attack. We do have a Robo Bay coming out of Tyropuffin, and not one even started for DGeN, and you know, that's bad. That's not good. He's going for a Twilight Council, so I'm not sure quite what he wants to do. He definitely can't go for any Dark Templars right now, because Dark Templars would be completely ineffective due to the Observers. Is this Observer going to get sniped? No, Observers move at the same speed, because neither of them have the Observer speed boost. And that's one of the few times where I can actually say, if you had the Observer speed boost, you would have gotten ahead right there. And, you know, that doesn't happen a whole lot. You do not get the chance to say that a ton. So anyway, we do have DGeN deciding to start saving for his future. He doesn't want to run out of money in retirement. So he's stockpiling up to 1,400 minerals and 600 gas. Not the most effective thing. Tyropuffin is also stockpiling a lot, but I think that's more just... he's using his production effectively, though, which is good. We see double upgrades starting yet again, and these are going to be 2-2 upgrades. And 2-2 on Zealots is basically, it turns them into walking tanks. Plus the fact that you would then have the Archon line behind them, and Archons are kind of hard to hit if there's a giant Zealot wave coming at you, because if you want to hit the Archons, then you need to get in range of the Zealots, and the Zealots will tear your army to bits. More literally, if you're Terran or Zerg, as in they will actually rip your army up until it's pieces and then it falls apart, because Zealots have the greatest kill animation in the game. But even if you're Protoss, they'll still turn you into gobbledygook. And this is not a spectacular army out of DGeN in comparison to the one that Tyropuffin has, because Tyropuffin is at 2 Colossus, and you know, really the only thing that DGeN has that's any sort of an expensive unit is the Immortal. And we do have DGeN, the only units that he's at elite in are Stalkers and Sentries and Immortals, and Tyropuffin has double the Zealots. Whew, that's a lot of Zealots. 27, in fact, that's 54 food worth of Zealots. And there's going to be nothing to stop the Zealots from just rolling up the ramp and completely destroying the natural. And yeah, it's not going to be a good situation for Tyropuffin. It really isn't. Yeah, this is not good for DGeN. I mean, Tyropuffin's probably going to get off of this just fine. Are we going to see a proxy pylon? I'd expect to see one, just because of how heavy of a gateway army he has. Like, he does have these Colossi, but most of his army is Zealots, and Zealots are really good if you can get the reinforcements out. Although we are seeing ground weapons level 3, I'm surprised that he's still so apprehensive about attacking this. I'm sure he has an observer around here somewhere. Oh, no, apparently his observer got sniped. But even then, I mean, he should be feeling pretty confident in his army's ability to just face roll right now. DGeN does have a couple of Colossi, but I just don't think it's going to do anything all that major against an army like this, especially if he positions it badly. I mean, if he runs down into the Zealots' mouths, he's gonna just straight up lose the game. I think that it looks like Tyropuffin might be waiting for like level 3 attack. Oh nope, there we go. He is finally moving in. These Archons aren't in the best position. You typically want your Archons behind your Zealots, just because Zealots really can't do anything in the back. And he's actually, interestingly, taking a bad position on this section. I don't think it's really going to matter just because of the size difference of the armies, but when you're in such like a heavy Zealot formation, you don't really want to try to back yourself into a corner, because ranged units are a lot better if the Zealots get very low surface area. I mean, at a certain point, your Zealots kind of act like Zerglings in the way that you want them out onto the open field, not so much in the back. And these Colossi moving down and one of them just getting completely destroyed by the Zealots essentially just won Tyropuffin the game right there, because, you know, after that it was pretty easy for them to just steamroll the rest of the Colossi down, and DGeN calling the good game and leaving the game. And yeah, that was a good game. Nice job out of Tyropuffin. I would have liked to see some earlier upgrades. The straight rush to Archon was interesting, but I think it would have worked better if he had gotten a second gateway early.